G'day, punters. Welcome back to Rapid Fire. Of course, we've got John and Jason giving us a hand as per usual, and we hope to bring you a couple of winners from either Rosehill or Flemington. G'day, boys.
G'day, Skipper. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Mate, Az has just warned us that he's
Got
not going to be
some
pulling any
news
punches
here.
today. So we've warned punters. Az has got the chambers all ready to fire.
I'm back. 3 losing weeks in a row. One last week. Confidence is chock-a-block. I'm on the front foot, and Matty Hayden down the pitch smacking them back over the head. For all those people who think they're fucking smarties, including me, who got the 100-1 Deauville Legend, you've done your coin, failed the vet test. It's out.
What?
Oh, lovely.
Just got the message. Racing Victoria stewards have advised that, in their opinion, it's unsuitable to compete.
I backed Loft. I had 1,010 Loft, so
I backed Deauville, so I'm out.
Wow.
I don't have to split it now, do I, John?
No.
With P. Lawrence, because it didn't get a run.
You don't have to split, but you don't get paid because when Knight's Order wins, you don't get paid.
Knight's Order, come on.
That's it. I'll tell you what. Was Matt Tripp last seen in the box with it or what? Holy heck, what a let off that is for that crew.
Yeah, so that saved them. So we're doing Flemington or Rosehill first?
Well, I'll just start off at Rosehill first. We'll do the Nature Strip Stakes at race 7. You got a market there, John?
I'm close. Share screen. Here we go. Nature Strip Stakes, $2.45 Lost and Running, $4 Marzu, $5 Private Eye, $7.50 Eduardo, $11 Mars Crusader, $18 We Own a Smart One, $31 Kementari, $34 Rocketing By, $61 Brutality, $81 Colding, Frankie Dettori to ride, $81 Riadini, Shelby, $66 far out, that poor horse.
Let's talk about the track quickly. Slow 6 at the moment. A bit of rain around Sydney on the radar anyway, and rail true. So I'm expecting the inside to be a bit iffy in the straight. What are your thoughts, John?
You'd be hoping it'd get somewhere near a 4-ish, 5. I'd say 5 is probably solid to work off.
We'll get that. Yeah,
I hope so. And the track hasn't been used much, but I do agree. You always be careful of this really rail true, but it might not be too bad. Like not off. Not rails in, run off is what I'm hoping for.
Okay, so tell us what your thoughts are in this race. I thought Lost and Running would win the Everest, and I got no reason to go back against it here. I think there's only 2 chances the way the race sets up, and that's Lost and Running and Marzu. If Marzu gets every chance from the inside, I think it's definitely dangerous. Am I charging it at $2.45 Lost and Running? Pretty close. If we got to $3, I'd be backing it for sure. I think they're the only 2 hopes. Jason.
Yeah, I sort of spent a bit of time on it. It's got a really long tail, and I said a couple of weeks ago, I think Lost and Running's the best 1,300-metre horse in the country. I still think he is, but can I take 6-4 off a little bit of a minor setback? Probably not. So I'll be at the bar between the 2 Group 1s at Flemington, and I'll just watch this.
Lost and Running for me, top pick. I don't think there's a reason to charge in now, though. Marzu, just worried that it might get stuck on the fence, but that's probably the only caveat for me. Private Eye, I suppose, rounds it up for the 3rd pick, and a roughie that could sneak in the top 4 is Winona Smart Tone. So they're mine. No real confidence to be betting, though. I don't think. I want to see how the track plays a little bit more and just look at the price action around Lost and Running. It has trialled since, of course. But yeah, always coming off a setback's not ideal. Okay, let's get on to race 8, the Golden Eagle, over 1,500 metres.
Jesus Christ, it's going to take me 10 minutes. Light Infantry, 370. Chain of Lightning, 440. $10 I Wish I Win. 11 In the Congo. Hinge, 12. 17 Gypsy Goddess. 17 Balana. 18 Fangirl. 19 Mr. Mozart. 19 Well. 26 Cardinal Gem, 26 Overpass, 31 Kiss Sums and Emergency, 31 Pinstripe, 34 Hope in Your Heart, 51 Converged,
61 Lady of Honor. Am I going to keep going? 67 Jimmy the Bear. I don't think it's in the race yet either. 81 Halal, 81 Military Expert, 101 Flying Crazy, 101 Lavish Girl. I'm out of breath. 151 Lightsaber.
I mean, Jimmy the Bear, it's in Melbourne, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. I think it matters.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. And just on the Deauville Legend, just realised it's from the handle at Racing Vic Bitter. It's a fake tweet.
Not the fake one.
A fake tweet. Okay.
People have got too much time.
Let's go.
Anyways, let's get cracking. Wow. I thought it was illegal to print money. What an absolute moral this thing is. Light infantry. Got absolute links on anything here. The only thing you're betting on is that it's travelled, and at that price, that's a great bet. Kieran seems to think it's fine. It beat Inspiral in a Group 1. Did it run second to Inspiral? Did it beat it last start? Ran second to it in a Group 1 at France. Inspiral won the Coronation Cup, which is a Group 1 at Royal Ascot. It's a top race. This is some horse coming over here for the money. 1,500 metre Rosehill. Don't want to be trying to make ground coming around that corner. It's drawn perfectly. With even luck, it'll win. And I'm very, very keen to bet on this.
John, do you have any? Just before you go, John, is there anything else, Jason, in the race, or is that the only horse in the race?
Look, I think. Look, clearly there's going to be a really fast speed, certainly with overpass and in the Congo. Look, Valana comes through the Strutty, but it's drawn 24, and it had the PR last start. I wanted to find Pinstripes, but it's gone 22, has to go back. I can't see it winning. Chain of Lightning's a very promising horse, but I just can't believe the price. Gypsy Goddess interested me, but it's going to be back, and Willie Pike and needs a miracle. So I could just find a lot of reasons not to back things. Fangirl should improve on the dry. But yeah, for me, it was without the one I've tipped, it would just seem so even and such a challenging race. I'm just very keen to back Light Infantry.
Okay, John.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar actually. Synopsis. So not as my worry is that 20 horse field at Rosehill and the jockey not ever riding Rosehill and understanding it. It is a little bit different. If it was Randwick, I'd certainly be far more keen to chime in. But I do think the thing is, it's like $4. So if it was even money, which it probably should be off ratings or whatever you want to say on ability, then I'd be much more reserved again. But I think he's the only horse in the race you could possibly back. I can't find anything I could back with confidence to beat it. So I think the decision is whether you're happy to take the risk about this horse getting around Rosehill and the jockey getting around Rosehill and it having time to sort of wind up and get to them. Valana was the only horse I was interested in finding prior to the barrier draw in 24. Just about takes its chances, pretty much out of play without a lot of luck. But possibly have something small in it at 20s just in case and make the decision on the favourite. It's not a race I love, but it's the only horse in the race I could back.
Okay, I'm a bit against Light Infantry at the price. I'm probably more 5-1. Not saying it can't win, but just I think it's a bit short. Chain of Lightning was a horse I went looking for. I didn't figure to run the 1400 strong last time. Of course, I was proven wrong, as so often is the case. But look, I'm a bit worried about where it's going to be on map in terms of on the inside there. And if it gets buried there, and I don't think it's necessarily the place to be in the straight, and Jamie can't navigate a path, then it could be in trouble. But certainly wouldn't want to bet against it. I probably won't end up betting in this race. I did think horses like Fangirl could improve on a drier surface if it gets it, and even Hinged were chances in the race. Your boyfriend from down in Melbourne there, I Wish I Win, totally not out of the picture. Obviously in the Congo is going to face a bit of pressure early, and at the end of 1500 that could be a problem. Is a horse like Lady of Honor, I mean, if it ran even top 4 or 5 or 6, would it totally surprise?
I'm not
Jason?
sure. Running a strong 1,500 metres, I think the pace is it's a very hard, strong going horse. I'd think it'd be suspect at the end of this trip, personally. And class wise, I'm
Probably.
not sure it's up at level
Yeah.
weights. It's running it's level weights with some Group 1 mares, winning mares here, and so I don't think she's at that level yet, personally.
Just with the blinkers on, I wasn't sure what to do with it. And look, it's sort of, I've got it on around about probably a 25, 33 to 1 chance. So would surprise, I suppose. All in all, I stay out, but look, I'd be a bit against the favourite here. Okay, that says it for Sydney. Of course, Top Sport is our sponsor. And of course, at Punters, if you don't have an account, make sure you get yourself sorted by contacting Tristan or one of the team there.
Oh,
Get on for more money. I'm still here. Thanks, John.
I removed you instead of adding the Top Sport screen.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, let's get on to Flemington. Of course, we're going to start off with, I believe, should be the Wakeful in race 4. John, what's the market look like?
Only just smaller field. As time goes by, 440, Jenny Jerome 440, Pavitra 750, so Dazzling 9, Zenzella 9, 950 Queen Air, $13 Wakamama, $16. Let's be Frank Baby, Jesus, Macarena 18, Whispering Lady 18, 34 Thinking Rain, 41 Grey Northern, Largiola 101, Uptick 101, 150 to 1 the rest.
Jason, you lead these, I think.
Yeah, sure. So I think I'm expecting Flemington to be a 7 as a starting point. The cricket got washed out last night. It's been pissing down there today in the burbs. Whether it's hit Flemington, I'm not exactly sure, but there's a bit of rain forecast again tomorrow.
Yep.
It's an interesting meeting because just a couple of things I looked up earlier is the Premier jockeys are that out of form. Zara's 1 from 50. Ollie's 2 from 50, and Jai and Lane and Frosty are 3 from their last 50. And I know I can look at ROIs and all that shit, but they're generally on horses in the market. So they're cast. Freedies have trained 3 out of the last 50, and Hawks can't train a winner either. So it's an interesting spring, interesting lead up to Derby Day. So I just wanted to do that because I just had some gut feeling on how some of these guys are going and whether they were that big a plus when they were going onto horses. Notwithstanding race 4, the Wakeful, a lot of the form lines here tie in through the So Dazzling race, which was that 1,800 metre on a heavy 10 on that Sunday, I think it was. The Ethereal and those 2 races. So if you take a line through there, So Dazzling beat Wakamama that day. Wakamama went to the Ethereal and just sort of plugged away on the rail inside there, so I could take a line through those horses. So Dazzling went to an open race at Newcastle, ran on. It was just a run. I know they were just giving it a run, but I didn't absolutely love it. Look, I think all the fillies forms tie in together, and I think it's all pretty average. So there's only 3 horses I had an interest in the ball draw on the outside 3 gates. Jenny Jerome, I think, is a clear top pick here. Even when you go back to that Donald's maiden second, she got beat by Boogie Dancer in the wet, who SP'd fave in the 1,000 guineas or close to. Second up, she flew home in the Jim Maloney to Waltz On By. Waltz On By before that had beaten Bankmore pretty convincingly, and Bankmore ran really well in the Caulfield Guineas. So I think that's the premier form line. She then went to 1,000 guineas, beaten 4 lengths on a heavy 10. And if you go back to last year, guys, and have a look at a horse called Dusua, who ran second in the Oaks, followed the exact same path as this horse, except on 1,000 guineas day, she ran in that race that Zoe's promised one instead of the guineas. So a clear pattern that Paddy Payne's following here. Frosty goes on for Harry Coffey. Despite what I said earlier, that's a triple tick. And I'm very, very keen to back her. I'm praying Zenzella runs well. I'm spewing where it's drawn. I've had a huge go at it in the Oaks at $41. I'm praying it runs on well here. And I just thought Thinking Rain, God, this horse has got ability. All 3 starts in Sydney have been good. Chad absolutely slaughtered it last start with blinkers on. It keeps the blinkers. I grant it's 1,400 up to 2,000, but it's 50 to 1 or something. Interested to see what it might do. But I'm unloading Jenny Jerome here, banking that all that other fillies form's rubbish. Won't be losing on Zanzella and Thinking Rain. And this is the lead up for the Oaks, guys. You got to run well on the Wakefield to win the Oaks. History tells you that.
Okay, so I'm with you, Jason. Jenny Jerome for me. I think it's probably about a 3 to 1 chance. I think that's a reasonable price. Look, the horse I got in for second pick is So Dazzling. I'm prepared to say that run at Newcastle was really just a trial, and that's likely a second pick. I suppose in terms of longer price runners here, I thought Let's Be Frank Baby, who I've got in for third pick at good odds there, isn't totally out of it. It'll be racing on speed, and I would expect it to at least give you some sort of a show. I am against, as time goes by, at the price. I don't think it deserves to be sort of around that equal favouritism, and should be double figures. So I'll be taking the risk with it. But Jenny Jerome for me, So Dazzling second pick, and the roughie Let's Be Frank Baby in there for third. Not a great deal of confidence, but that's how I see it. John?
Yeah, I've found the same horse by default, but I'm just worried it's going to be last. So that scares me about backing any horse in a fillies race that has to round the whole field up. Jenny Jerome, but it looks the only horse I could find that sort of had upside. Just take it drawn wide and looks like it's going to have to circle the field. The horse that, as I talked about, that Thinking Rain, big engine, just an horrific setup. I don't know what the heck they're going to do from 16. Are they going to have the jam it again, or quite conservative? But like with 40 to 1, it's not hard to have it on your side regardless. Yeah, bit of a weird horse, but definitely don't let it under your guard. Nothing more to add.
If anyone's at the track on Saturday and sees me out there, I'll be in front of Robbie Waterhouse's stand about 5 minutes before the Wakefield. So come and see me. We're going as a head-to-head versus Robbie on Saturday. And, come and say g'day and watch me take these cash off him from Jenny Jerome.
He's looking forward to it, Jason.
Bring it
Not as
on.
much as Jason is.
I've gone to the branch today to get out cash monies.
And if you do it all in that race, he may even lend you some.
Oh, good on him. Isn't that nice?
Okay, let's get on. Let's get on to the Ling Lithgow over 1,400 metres.
460
John.
Old Flame, 550 Chirath, Jimmy the Bear, there he is, 650 Pride of Jenny, 750 $10 Sinawan, $11 Lord Vladivostok, $14 Ironclad, $18 Crosshaven, Poland 19, Inferno 19, Catalyst 21, Mavada 21, 51 Streets of Babylon, 61 Wild Planet, and Wicklow Town 101.
Jason, do you want to start off again?
This is where it gets really ugly for Robbie because we go all up from Jenny Jerome into Moral and this. The only thing that can beat this is the trainer who's talking about saving it for Cup Day. My God, don't do it, love, because they bet $15 all week and they just kept taking bets. When the first markets come up, it went out 6, and that is Tarath. Lovely, lovely mare, this horse. If you go back to last spring, she really came of age, won a few on end, went to the Group 2 Let's Elope, beat Mystic Journey, who was then beat by Colette in the Group 1 Empire Rose. She just went a bit off in the autumn. They aimed pretty high, went over the sprints, 1,200, got sort of looked a bit average, but we're talking Group 1 futurities. You know, she was running a bit out of her grade. First up, like the run, and then went to Geelong, 60 kilos, saw a gap and just went bang. The horse is back. She was on the fresh side that day. Third up to 1,400 where she won that Let's Elope. I know this is not mares, but this is pretty average horses, pretty average Group 2 here. Probably the bet of the day. Interesting, Frosty, who hasn't got a ride in this race, got taken off it after winning on it. They've put William Buick on. Very interesting move. I probably prefer that didn't happen, but he's still a great jockey, William Buick. I will also be backing in the race Ironclad. Always had time for this horse. Loved its 2 trials. Run really well first up. It's about sort of $17. Be having a win on that, and I'll be chopping out on Jimmy the Bear, heavily back first up. They entered it for the Golden Eagle, hasn't got a run. Ran third to Emissary and Shiraz in the Heatherly. They're two good horses on the minimum here. I don't want to lose on it, but we'll be heavily involved, Tarath, and we'll be very, very, very angry / upset if they scratch for Tuesday.
I've got 5 runners under $10 here, so it's obviously an open contest. Jimmy the Bear is my top pick. I'm not saying I'm extremely confident. I do think it's the value at the moment, or one of the horses that represents value. Definitely with you, Jason, on the Ironclad. I've got it marked second pick. I just think with the blinkers coming off and the tongue tie coming off, this horse could actually race really well. And could be a bit of underestimated by the market, but you'll get a lead from the market being first up. I wouldn't be necessarily charging in right now. Third pick, Old Flame, who I'm prepared to sort of forgive that last start, but I couldn't take 13-4 or 7-2. Pride of Jenny, I think, has got a terrific chance in the race also, and then I've got Tara, who I think is a bit under the odds. So for me right now, it'd have to be working around horses like Jimmy the Bear, Pride of Jenny and Ironclad. They'd be the ones I'd be most interested in focusing on in the betting. John?
Yeah, I'm with Azza again. I think Tarath wins if it runs, but I just don't get it. It's not as if Damien Lane, he's ridden at its last 7 starts. So what does this mean? Like, he doesn't have another ride in the race.
I can only think that Matty Raymond got this horse from the UK. It's still the original owners, and Buick's in town, and they're Poms, and they want Buick. That's the only thing I can think of.
He did win on it. He did win on it back there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hadn't looked at that. Good point. He did too at Newbury that day in that novice.
I do think you're probably right. Like, that's maybe the only thing. That's the only thing that scared me. I just like the other day, it's dead set, not a 1,200 metre horse at all. 1,400 minimums let's go. I think 1,400 let's go. It was just, like the race on Tuesday is ideal. Like you would say, a mare's race 1,400 is where you would have expected this horse to pop up. But I just think this is a perfect race. There's a lot of horses that are either, I think, found their level or on the way back. And this horse is just on the way up, drawn ideally, perfectly prepped and very hard to beat.
Okay, let's move on to the Coolmore Stud Stakes, race 6.
Sorry, Paul, was Tarath one of your 5 that you've got single figures?
Yes. Yeah, just a bit of I've got it marked at 9-1.
Okay. That means Robbie's going to give me 11s, is it?
Each way. In secret 370, Jacquino 480 being well back. 750 Buenos Noches, 750 Coolangatta, 950 Grand Impact, $12 Economics, 16 Best of Bordeaux, 20 Sejardin, 21 Lofted Strike, 21 Natuno, 34 Queen of the Ball. That's $41 plus the rest.
Jason.
Look, tough race, pretty even. However, I feel like I have clarity. You've just got to take a view. I'm against Jacquino. He's a really lightly framed horse. I've been with him all prep, peaking it up for that Golden Rose, then back to the Everest, and then back again here. I'm just against it because there's so many talented horses here, and it hasn't been a clear GF. I'm going against that stable, and they generally have them really fit early. And a sort of 4th run or prep for a lightly framed horse. I'm against him. Could win, but that's just my reasoning. I'm going against the Blue Sapphire form. I don't think Coolangatta gets the trip. So that leaves me, I'm having a decent crack here. I think in secret it's been the target all along. Her form, this prep has been nothing short of outstanding. Smacked Best of Bordeaux, who's gone and run well in a Manicato. The smacked Sweet Ride, that form held up with Sejardin running it down last week. beaten by Zagotcha, who obviously won the Triple Crown, and I thought she was enormous in the Golden Rose, and only beaten by Jacquinot, and I've given my reasons why I'm against it. So I love the 1400 back month off Godolphin, Clear Peak. You get obviously clearly the best jockey in Australia, full stop. But at the moment, it just feels like he's got lengths on everyone. So she's clear top peak. And the only other one I'm backing is Bornus Notches. I mean, I just don't know how you can't. Like, how could anyone say this isn't a bet? It's going to handle the straight. 1200 looks like right in its wheelhouse. And beaten an eyelash by Gig Kick. I thought it was, a race of tremendous merit. They're the two bets for me. I thought maybe Sajardin it was pretty dynamic last week, maybe, but I'm pretty keen to have a go here at these two, and if I get rolled, I get rolled.
John, what do you have to say?
Yeah, kind of the opposite. As I think I can't possibly back In Secret to beat Jacquinot. And I know I get the 2 grand finals, which I hate, but it's just I don't mind it as much with a horse that sort of gets off the speed like this horse does. And I'm also hoping it's down the outside, because if it's not, he's in a bit of trouble. But I just think he's so strong. For him to get over the top of this horse I know it was 1400 at Rosehill, his straight line speed, if he gets any sort of crack at these horses, expect him to be really strong. I think it can run well for sure. In Secret, well, of course it can run well. I just think I don't see how it beats Jacquinot. That's my problem. They're going to go really quick here, and that'll suit him as well. Water Storch is just against everything I sort of do in racing. 5th up, been up for a long time. First time to 1200. I get the Giga Kick form, but I just far out. I just think Giga Kick improved a lot out of that, and I think this horse cannot be on the up. That fifth run in first prep, and that's just my thinking. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm on it at a big price. So I pray I'm wrong, but I just hope hope he goes as well as a Giga Kick. But I think, for me, just Jacquinot, and the other horse that I thought was a big price was Best of Bordeaux. I think it's gone better its last 2 starts, and the Melbourne Way seems to be suiting it, sitting outside that ridiculously fast speed in the Manicato. I thought he did a really good job there, and he's drawn the right spot to be, camping out wide if that's the place to be, sort of Crown and wider. So for me, Jacquinot from Best of Bordeaux.
Okay, I'm almost like you, John. I've actually got In Secret on top, but I've only got a roll of the board between it and in Jacquinot, so not much between those two. One and not just sort of was on that third line with me. Cool and Gatter, who I kicked in the guts, and just worried about it. It had its birthday first up with that massive on pace and inside bias over the 1,000 metres to 1,200. I'm taking the risk with it. Grand Impact is a horse that's improving, and it sort of rounds out the main chances for me. I don't think there's actually a bet at the moment in the race. So,
what did a horse you guys haven't mentioned? Economics. I was obviously heavily backed in that Blue Sapphire and comes out of Opal Ridge. What were your thoughts on it?
It should be a lot longer.
Yeah, I'm happy to take it on. Just off 35 days, first run down the straight. Just a lot. It has to tackle a lot, and even Chad, just had a lot. It has to be a lot better than him for mine to win.
So who's the best out of that Sydney lot? I know it's all been heavy truck stuff and all that, but
Jacquinot.
Is it Best of Bordeaux's 5th up here as well? Sajardin, they've all had a crack.
He's had a racing prep too, exactly. But it's I think all of the Sydney form's pretty. In Secret, you've got to argue, I guess, is the best of them, but I think Jacquinot's better than all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I'm sort of the only thing I'm worried about is where Jacquinot will be in the run. It'll be giving In Secret a bit of a head start. I just think that was a total forgive run with In Secret last time. Even though it wasn't hard fence, it was in the inside section of the race, and I don't think that was the place to be. Okay, let's move right along to the Victoria Derby, of course. Race 7, John, the market.
This Uazza smashing this out of the park. LeCrick into 235. She's lickety split.
Wrong race. Wrong race.
race?
Wrong race.
And
On the
this
Derby.
race. I don't want to talk about this race because I know what you're going to talk about. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't know. You actually don't know, actually.
I don't know.
No, I haven't told you
I've
something.
already warned Robbie. Berkeley Square 330, Sharp and Smart 340, Mr. Maestro 650, $8 Pericles 13, Muramasa, Fulhita San 20, Grand Piero 26, Benzois 26, 31 Distrustful Award 41 Berardino. That was the worst ride I've ever seen in my life. I start $41. King's Crossing 51 Scufius, $81 the rest.
Robbie would like to offer you a special custom price there, Jason, on these all-ups.
I'm sure that he's watching the show, avid watcher. I'm sure, Paul. You're his commission agent.
No, come on. I just texted him. He said special price for Jason.
The briefcase special.
Oh, that makes me less confident. All right, so the Victoria Derby, the timeline of Victoria Derby, and long live it be 2,500 metres. And the other people that say 2,000 just piss off. Great race. Very interesting barrier draw, with most of them drawing well, except Mr. Maestro and 17. So just a couple of things. I love my history leading up to races. Last winner of the Vase to win Derby was Efficient in 2006, albeit there have been winners come out of the race, but the last winner was Efficient. Not a bad horse. The route that Mr. Maestro's taken, the superimpose into the Norman Robinson, is the most common path to win over the last 10 years. And obviously with the Spring Champion moving, it's not really a guide, but obviously Ace High and I think Monaco Console won that and came through it. So it has been done, but I think with a 7-day backup, that's irrelevant anyway. I think that only 4 winning chances are the top 4 in the market. I have Pericles going for a significant amount. So I hope it wins, and if you're at the track and it wins, come see me because I'll buy a bottle of champagne, not a drink. In saying that, I don't think it can win off that run. I didn't think it was good enough last week. I think that heavy track, they only ran a length slower than the Cox Plate. It's got to have taken a lot out of Berkeley Square, even though I say he's a Flemington horse and looks good. I'm going against him. I'm putting a pen through Mr. Maestro because of the barrier. For me, Sharp and Smart is nearly immoral. Honestly, I was thinking back a few months, I thought it could win the Cox Plate if they went there. It's that good a horse. It proved that last start. It sat 3 wide. It was ridden amazingly by Bowman and ran down a horse who ran second in the Guineas, Elliptical. Elliptical, obviously, you can line that up with Berkeley Square through the Guineas. So I think it's got the measure there. And I just think that Guineas form's better than anything Mr. Maestro and Pericles and anything others can do. It's got J-Mac, it's got barrier 3. Just wins for me. We'll be unloading. If it gets rolled, I hope it's by Pericles. Otherwise, it's going to be I'm going to be kicking stones out of Flemington.
My top pick is Berkeley Square. I think it's the one to beat in the Derby. Sharp and Smart second pick. Clearly, look, I'm sort of against Mr. Maestro for the reasons that you're talking about. Also, Map, and I'm against Pericles. I think it should be double figures. I thought Muramasa was a horse that could run a race at odds. I wouldn't be surprised if it ran into the placings somewhere. Outside that, I don't really want to be with any of them. Happy to back Berkeley Square for mine, and could even potentially back Sharp and Smart, price dependent, and have something on Muramasa. I just make a little bit of a book around horses like Mr. Maestro and Pericles, who I think are gobbling up too much percentage. John.
Yeah, I'm similar to Azza here. Like I think the Melbourne. I think Pericles, for Pericles to get as close. Like I love the horse. I think it's a freak. I think next year it could be anything. But for it to get as close as it did to those horses, happy to sort of risk those. Mr. Maestro don't like at all. Come back to the Sharp and Smart form. I'm going to say it's close enough to its right price, but not one that I want to launch into. But I want to back a horse out of that race, and it's a horse called Manzois. goes against my religion a little bit that it's in its first preparation, but has been spaced trials between runs quite a few times and was 24 days between runs last week, given an absolute none in the run, just an absolute terrible ride. Got beat 5 lengths there, but it's $26 here. Flemington from and a drier surface, I think, will not too much dry, but those tracks in Sydney are different. The base in the Melbourne tracks are just so much firmer than the Sydney wet tracks. So I'm saying it'll improve on a firmer base here, and I'm backing it each way out of the same form line as Sharp and Smart.
Best rough.
Right. Nothing else in the race?
No, I just think that Sharp and Smart's the horse to beat, but I 350 short enough for me, and I've got too much mental scarring from it jamming me for life-changing results the last 2 starts. So, I'm not going to be charging into $3.50 yet, but it's the one to beat.
Right. Okay, let's get on to the Empire Rose after a bit of controversy there with the barrier draw.
I've already read it twice. Here we go. Le Creek, 235. She's lickety. Is that right? Yeah, right. Jesus Christ, you got me nervous now. She's Lickety's pick, well back 650, 950 Nimmerly, $11 per lacy pan, 14 ice bath, 17 kiss on all 4 cheeks. This is Paul's horse. Belle Plaisir, $18. My Whisper, 18. 21 Daisies, 21 Kiku, 21 Yearning, 26 Exalita, 26 Pride of Jenny, 34 Elusive Express, $41 a Tissue. I will go down that far because I thought it was an interesting runner. 41 Mirror Vision, 51 Shallot, and $1,000,000 Cliff's Art.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, I thought the interesting thing about this race is My Whisper doesn't have a jockey engaged, which I'm assuming they've got it entered in the 1,800 metre Furphy Plate on Cup Day. I'm assuming they're saving it for that race, which is surprising, but why wouldn't they have a jockey by now unless they were? And if it's scratched, that means Pride of Jenny gets a run here and comes out of that Linlithgow, which means there is a lot more pace than it looks on in paper here. So I'm really got my eye on that. I've watched every run of this New Zealand horse. It's just very hard to line up, isn't it? But look, it's a go-forward horse. It sits on speed. It'll be in the first 4. If it's run second in a derby, it's pissed in over 2,100. So on a fast speed, it's not a concern in terms of can it see out a trip third up, whether it's fit enough. You'll just have to bank that it is if you want to back it. Probably just not a bet for me at that price. She's Lickety Split. I love 3-year-old fillies in this race, but it wants it drier, I think. I don't think a 7's going to suit it. For the sake of, I don't really love the race. For the sake of tipping, I think Nimmerly each way ran 4th in this race last year. They went right back that day. Ollie will have it in the 1-1 here from barrier 2. It'll be in the finish. I'm just going to spec some at really massive odds. Kiku, I'm going to spec at big odds especially if Pride of Jenny's in. Maybe it's a one that can sort of blouse them with Tim Roberts in town. The other one was Mirror Vision, third up, blinkers on. Ran in this race last year. They went like 15, 17 lengths above to the 1,600. It did all the donkey work, chasing Pride of Jenny up. Forward on was only beat a length. It was a bloody huge run. With Josh on, maybe it goes forward, could maybe run a race. It's 50s. There's a horse here that was beaten less than a length 2 years ago in this race and SP'd $7 in the Cantala, beaten less than 2 lengths and ran the fastest 600 metres of the race last start, and that's Shalo. I'm on it at $101. And I thought Daisies might just get a cover and be able to launch later them, and I might even have it. But all these things are 50 to 1. Elusive Express, I could have a little tickle at. So don't love the race, but hopefully I'll be able to just have a little spec at a few massive ones here and see what happens.
Look, I think the favourite's the one to beat, but I just can't come into that price. So certainly not going to lay it. I'm going to have some small bets on some horses at good odds here. Belle Plaisir, which I was on last start, and I thought a bit unlucky not to actually get the chocolates. Comes back to Melbourne, gets back to 1,600. Blinkers stay on. So happy to be with it around the 20 to 1 mark. My Whisper, like you, Jason, if don't know the jockey, but if it gets to run here, then I'd have to have something on it. And Yearning is the other one I thought was an interesting setup coming into this race, and is one I definitely will have something on as well, but only small bets. John?
Yeah, so I'm dead set tipping a Tissue at 50s. I just thought they're going to go 100 miles an hour here, and I went looking for a 2,000-metre horse. It was it. It's a horse that's had no luck for a long time. Its form sort of ties in pretty well up in Brisbane, and whilst it probably needs a career best, I don't think that's impossible. And yeah, he's a winner over 2,000. The drier the track, the better. So I don't want it too heavy, but I don't think it matters.
Who's this?
A Tissue.
Oh, Tissue. Right, sorry.
Yeah, a Tissue. Your man, Tim Roberts. I'm hoping Tim Roberts gives it the nice back massage and leads it out on the track himself.
He's still there. He's a lovely, very, very good with his good vet.
I love it that you've got the e-tracker on none of the horses, none of the things. You've got it on him. I think that's great. Yeah, that sort of race for me, and it's the horse that I settled on. I just think there's a lot that are tested at the end of a mile, like a strong mile, and this horse can poke around at the back and be exposed at 50s and run well.
Okay, that's it, I think. Unless anyone wants to talk about best bets. Jason, have you got anything that you...
Yeah, sure. The races we covered. I think Jenny Jerome's a great bet at $4. Can really see it. There's a lot of rubbish. I know it's drawn wide, but there's a lot of rubbish in that race. I could see it coming down the middle of the track. And I'm very keen to Rath. I do think they're going to scratch, because I think that race on Tuesday is going to drop away. And I love the Derby. I think Sharp and Smart will win the Derby. So they're there, and I think Light Infantry, but I don't want to declare that the best. I'll stick to Flemington, those three.
John?
Well, the best I'd say is O'Shea's Sprinter. What's it called? Lost and Running. And I think Manzoice each way is a good bet in the Derby. They're the two I'll stick with.
Berkeley Square for me if I'm forced to have one, but I'm not. Obviously, Sharp and Smart's a big danger as well, but I'll stick with Berkeley Square. Okay, punters, that's it for the show today. And of course, good luck on the weekend. We'll work out what we're going to do over the next few days, Melbourne Cup. But of course, we'll be back on Monday to review the Saturday meeting in Sydney, and then I'll do a little show there with Peter to talk about the Melbourne stuff. We might even try and get him on board and just do a Melbourne Cup overview, if you like, rather than try and do something separate there. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Cheers, boys.
Good luck, Robbie.
On you, Robbie. Good luck, Rob.